Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back once again to Phatkat Collections. Got another amazing watch, you folks, today, and this is another Tourbillon. So let's get right down into it. So another Nubeo, badass looking watch. I think to date, I have a few Tourbillons in my collection. I think to date, this is my favorite one. Again, if you haven't checked out my other Tourbillon reviews, do check them out. You know, beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Nubeo makes some amazing, affordable Tourbillons. And, geez, I don't know how many I have now. Maybe I have 6. And when I do these videos, a lot of times I repeat myself. I'll be like, oh, this is my favorite, this is my favorite. I think anytime you get something new, it becomes your favorite. But at the end of the day, there are so many cool watches on the market, whether it's a Tourbillon, an automatic, a quartz, a $10 watch, or a $10,000 watch. There really is something for everybody in this hobby. And a lot of times I don't even really... sometimes I don't even like to really say hobby, you know. We all like things, and these are accessories, you know. So it's like collecting shirts, you know. I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you know, this is a hobby. I just kind of feel like it's something I like and I collect, and it's cool to have a really nice variety in your collection. And the cool thing about these affordable watches, whether it be a affordable watch more towards the topper end of what I consider affordable, or on the low end, like, they're all fun. They're all really unique, and it is amazing what you get for your money nowadays. So when it comes to a Tourbillon, I'm not going to dive into, you know, some folks will watch my videos and be like, oh, you haven't learned anything about watches in the last 15 years. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I kind of treat these as accessories. And, you know, at the end of the day, they all tell time, and they all tell time reasonably well. If you are the kind of collector that really dives into the mechanics, more power to you. But it's just not something I'm into. So if you're looking for a channel that's going to really pick apart the movement and, you know, come up with a bunch of bullshit about how, like, this movement's better than another and why you should spend $1,000 more, this probably isn't your channel. At the end of the day, I consider these accessories, and having more of a variety in my collection is more fun. So it's the fun of adding to the collection. And so when it comes to a Tourbillon, basically you have this, what I call an outer cage, that's rotating around the I believe that's the balance wheel. And this is basically counteracting gravity, if I understand it correctly. Again, you guys can probably explain this a lot better than me. I don't get involved in the real specifics as to what makes these better or worse than others, but because the reason for this is, at the end of the day, it's not like I'm showing up to work late. I'm not like taking breaks late. I'm not, you know, they're all relatively accurate. And that's the reason behind that is because of modern machining. Movements, the parts that make these, this is not overly complicated to make this, right? And everybody seems to forget that when it comes to the watch world, there's a little thing called markup. And a company's name and their track record determines what a company charges, right? Brand new companies, new to the game, are not going to be able to charge as much as, say, a company like Rolex, who has an already established name. They do things a certain way. But at the end of the day, a watch like this tells great time, and so does a $20,000 Rolex. It really just comes down to buying what you can afford and buying what really makes you happy and what you're going to get excited about wearing, right? Now, if you are the kind of person who just wants to buy a $200,000 watch and you can afford it for bragging rights, more power to you. That's just not my style of collecting. I can't afford a $100,000 watch, right? I could definitely afford a Rolex, but I just don't see the point. I don't see the value in spending that much money on something that tells time relatively well, just like this does. So when it comes to a Tourbillon, why would you want to spend a premium? This watch is $1,200. Minus my discount code, link and coupon are in description. Why would you want to spend $1,200 on a watch that tells time reasonably well? Regardless of the mechanics and, you know, being more accurate due to counteracting gravity, why would you want a Tourbillon? Most people want a Tourbillon simply because they just want to be able to say they have a Tourbillon in their collection. Usually, Tourbillon, folks who collect watches usually at one point will want to add a Tourbillon to their collection, not because it's going to make them, you know, earlier to work. It's not going to really make any real world difference. It just looks cool. And the only difference that you really get with a Tourbillon that you could actually, that's I think super noticeable, and it's not, and I say that loosely, is see these little like blue dots? This is an outer cage rotating around the balance wheel. Real slow, but it's rotating. That's about it. And there's a lot of watches that you're going to see out there that have an open heart, which are shown off the balance wheel, which is what's gyrating, right, like a wash machine, that just have kind of a fake cage on it. And because it moves so slow, they can duplicate what a Tourbillon looks like without charging you a ton of money. So, but a lot of times you'll see guys referring to just a standard open heart watch as a Tourbillon, so be careful what you buy. This is a true Tourbillon. is a hand wind tourbillon. So unfortunately, Nubeo, come on, get with the program. They listed this as an automatic movement on their listing. It is not. This is a hand wind only. So which means that you will have to, when you wear this, give it a little wind. Doesn't take a lot of effort. It's not going to wear you out, but you got to wind it. It is a non-screw down crown, so you'll basically just start winding. Don't overwind it. You don't want to break anything. I usually give it a wind where I can actually see there's, I believe, and you folks can probably tell me, I believe there's 2 mainsprings up here. And so when you wind this, these mainsprings basically rotate, and they basically wind up this coil, which is how you get energy from the watch, or it's what makes the watch work. That's just basically its motor. And so I just kind of wind those till I see them kind of getting tight, and I'll leave it alone. Don't go crazy with it. Now, as far as power reserve, we'll see if that information is documented. But what a cool looking watch. We have an exhibition window on the back, nice large exhibition window on a screw-on case back. We have I believe this is a sapphire crystal, but we'll get to that. Non-rotating bezel or anything like that, but 3-link bracelet, milled clasp, dual push button deploying, safety latch, pretty standard stuff here. But it's just a great looking piece. I like that it's not trying to duplicate anything. It's not trying to copy anybody. It's really its own thing. And realistically, that's kind of how it is with most Nubeos. Some people say, oh, they're trying to be Richard Mille. They're really not. I mean, anytime you have a barrel-shaped case or a tonneau-style case that's colorful and bright, like people are like, oh, it's trying to be Richard Mille. It's not really. It's just doing their own thing. So, specifications. Automatic tourbillon. Wrong, Nubeo. Shame on you. This is a hand wind tourbillon. So, just kind of scratch that right off the top of the specification list. It is 3/16 stainless steel. It does have a 46 millimeter case diameter. Again, kind of pushing that, not oversized, but getting away from the 42s. 15.4 millimeters in case thickness, 54 millimeters lug to lug. We have applied indexes with super lume. Who cares? Because you're not really buying this watch for lume, but it does have those on here. I'll kind of give them a little charge so you can see. Got a little glowing going on there. 29 millimeter stainless steel bracelet, which is proprietary to this watch, but it does taper down rather quickly. I'd say to about 22. 10 ATMs of water resistance, sapphire crystal pull-out crown, 2-year international warranty, buying directly from Nubeo. Branding on this is very light. We just have Polaris on the clasp, Nubeo on the safety latch, and of course, we have Nubeo on the face done in white, which really kind of blends into the background. It's a great looking piece. Color variations on this. It is available in a black. I'm going to try to get my hands on this. You have this particular watch with black bezel. You have it black. The whole watch is black, but you have the movement in silver, so it kind of pops. We have another variation here. What is this one? We have looks like a green bezel, and it almost looks like the crystal might be tinted green on this one here. We have the rose gold kind of inner bezel ring, very similar to this. This has got black, kind of like a black with like some of the text in here is like red and blue. Hard to see, but it's there. Excuse me. And of course you have the rose tone bezel. So me personally, I think this one is the best one, but that black is really calling me. I will try to get my hands on it. I debated on getting the stainless steel or the black, but I already have a different variation of a different model by Nubeo that I do have with the silver movement and the black case. It really makes the movement pop, but I don't wear as much because I prefer like stainless steel or gold. However, I will definitely try to get my hands on it. I'm not going to show you guys the case and all that. I mean, this is just an incredible watch. And for price, again, $1,200. Why would you want to spend that? Because you want a tourbillon in your collection and you like Nubeo watches. That's really about it. Can you get tourbillons cheaper? Yeah, by Nubeo. Sometimes I see Nubeo watches that are tourbillons drop down to about $550, which is incredible for a tourbillon. So be a smart shopper. These are only limited to 30 units, at least in this particular color, right? In each color. So the odds that you're going to be able to get this for $550 are kind of slim. Usually when they have watches that are this limited, they do sell out. And what they're trying to appeal to here is the Nubeo collector or the person who's been wanting to add a tourbillon to their collection and they're looking to spend about $1,000. I think in today's day and age, you can get a tourbillon in that $1,000 price range. And they are just really coming down in price. It just goes to show you they're not coming down in price because in the last 3 years, it's become easier to manufacture, right? Modern machining, modern manufacturing has been around for quite decades. However, they're making these because there's more of a market, right? And because there's I think a lot of companies are kind of getting away from this whole like, oh, we have this tourbillon status, this tourbillon movement, so we're going to charge you $5,000 for it. Companies can produce this. They can get these movements. I think this is a PTS movement for, you know, a fraction of the cost of what it costs from like a luxury company. Sure, absolutely. If you look at luxury watch brands, you know, yeah, there's more attention to detail on the movement finishing. Sometimes they're really involved, right? Some of the Jacob & Company watches, they have like quad tourbillons, absolutely fantastic, beautiful. They really are a marvel, right? But something like this, a regular standard tourbillon, it's really nothing to write home about. The only reason that you would want to get this is because you want to add one to your collection. And, you know, honestly, if I'm being honest, it is kind of cool to know that when you are wearing a tourbillon, you are wearing a little bit more of an expensive watch, right? But most people aren't going to notice that. Like, somebody looks at this watch. If this watch was done just in a standard skeletonized face with an open heart, it really wouldn't look any different, you know? You'd have to kind of be a watch guy. Like, if you're a watch collector like myself, and I say that kind of loosely, right? I don't mean it to be like I'm a watch collector, I'm a connoisseur. I don't mean that. I like what I like. I pretty much wear everything. But I know when I look at a watch, I could take a peek at it and be like, oh, what are you wearing? I could see that cage rotating. I know it's a genuine tourbillon. And then that's would be kind of cool to start a conversation. Be like, what made you get a tourbillon? You don't see a lot of those. It's not really the average guy's watch. It's something that the guy who's already been collecting for a while want to add to the collection. Because most people are going to be like, what? You're paying a premium for that little thing? There's other reasons behind it, but for the most part, the real world stuff, what it means to you, it's not really going to make any real world difference. It's just really kind of not even bragging rights. It's something that you've you know, I'm not even going to call it a bucket list, or it's just another watch you've just wanted to add to your collection, and the price came up where you know, you don't feel like you're getting ripped off or burned. It's a way to add one to your collection. I know Invicta did some tourbillons back in the day, and they still do. And the Invictas, they were very expensive, right? They were well over $1,000. So, you know, companies like this are definitely making a nice quality watch that gives you that tourbillon and gives you that little checkbox for your collection. What else? That's about it, folks. Pretty awesome. Definitely check it out. If I can help in any way, let me know. I'm always here to answer any kind of questions. Do try using my PHATKAT50 coupon code. I don't know if it's going to work on this particular watch, but it's worth a try. Links in the description. If I can help in any way, let me know. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a fantastic day, and take care.